Give me a job. Give me a job. I promise that I'm qualified, so please don't be a snob. Give me a job. Give me a job. If you don't give me a job, I'm going to scream.
Hey everybody, welcome to our year's final episode of Give Me a Job. We kind of can't believe we made it this far, but we did. I'm Harper.
And I'm Judy. We are here to talk about design, tech, diversity, and entry-level experience. But before we start, how are you doing today, Harper?
I'm doing really well. It's like super nice out today, so I'm going to go for a hike a little later and enjoy the weather while it's warm because it's supposed to get really cold. So yeah,
Amazing.
doing really well. How are you, Judy?
I'm really good. Just like nice day at home, but yeah, it's all good.
Perfect.
And this episode is very special. Like we're gonna be joined by like amazing people. But yeah, Harper, what we're gonna be talking about today?
Well, today, as promised, we are joined by MLEMON. You've heard them, even if you didn't realize you've heard them, you should have by now. But yeah, we're joined by McKinley and Asher of MLEMON Band, and they will be here any minute. We're so excited.
Yay! Welcome, guys.
Howdy!
Oh, it's you. Hey. Oh, wow.
See you there.
Welcome to Give Me a Job. We're so excited to have you guys here.
Thank you, Judy and Harper.
You're welcome. So let's kick it off. Let's just
dive
go ahead
in,
and
baby.
dive in. Yeah.
So, okay, before we start anything, I just would like to say that I'm a huge fan of you guys. I love your music. It's amazing. I know I don't talk much, but I really love your music, guys. Like, it's amazing.
That's so flattering. Nice to hear.
Wow.
We know that we must have fans somewhere out in the stratosphere, helisphere, somewhere.
I look at the emails that we get from Spotify that say, 5 people listened to this song today, and I'll be like, 5? Who?
Where?
Like what? So that's thank you. That's really sweet.
You're one of those 5.
You comprise 20% of our listenership.
I really hope like everyone like can listen to your music because it's amazing. It's so clear. It's so perfect.
Wow.
That's so perfect.
Hey, you can find all our music for free on Spotify and on Bandcamp. We're called MLEMON.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. So I would love to know more about you guys. So I would love if you can share with us, like, who are you? Tell us about yourself. Who's MLEMON?
Okay, so we're a romantic dynamic duo who's we shacked up during COVID shortly after our romance took off, and we've been making music pretty obsessively ever since. So we put out 3 albums in the last year, which is like pretty nuts, honestly, by my standards, because alone I would put out much less music, but we make a lot of stuff, and so we're pretty much trying to devote our lives to making more music forever, no matter the genre. Or I think our purpose is to defy genre and make music for anybody with any musical tastes, and anything can be an instrument, and every instrument is invited to the party. So yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
I love the music background. Thank you so much, Asher. Like, you did an amazing job.
That is my, like, if I could do anything forever, I would just play music in the background of conversations and let people, feel like they're in a TV show.
And you guys, like, your music, it's also funny. Like, you have some funny music that you guys play, which is like, I've never heard something like that before. So it was like, wow for me.
Artists, I think, feel sometimes like they have to take themselves very seriously in order to have people take them seriously. And I don't think that is necessarily true. I think you can have fun and people will see you having fun and they'll have fun and everyone will just have fun all the time forever. That's a great.
What's even more satisfying is we're both big fans of Frank Zappa, and Frank Zappa was really good at making music about ridiculous, vulgar, nutty things, nutty premises, but he would do it with such astounding musicianship and incredible skill and dexterity that like it was impossible not to take it seriously because it was too good, like in terms of the quality. But you're right about nutty stuff, and so it's, you know, you can. Yeah, I don't think music should be so serious.
Yeah, I mean, life's too short, you know.
Definitely. One of my like favorite, there's so many favorite moments of hanging out with you guys. And I think still like my favorite, I think of them as Asherisms, where you just have your guitar and we're hanging out and you start like playing a song about something you're talking about, was when you were describing the difference between warm and cold-blooded creatures around a bonfire. And it was just delightful. And I don't think it could be recreated. And it's so wonderful. And I love that whimsy that you guys bring to everyday situations.
I honestly don't think I could recreate that if I wanted to. Like, it is in the moment and it's gone, you know, it's just, but hey, I mean, that's everything, right? Like, you have a moment and you can decorate it and make it fun, and then
you kiss it at you.
I'm sorry.
You frame, you frame that moment in a nice little picture frame, and you put it in an album and tuck it away, and move on to more moments. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true. Yeah.
I'm a little bit curious. So, how did you guys meet?
We met on Tinder.
Tell me about it. I'm in. Okay.
Okay, so here's the
really
full
excited.
story. January last year, I got my wisdom teeth taken out, and look, it's a big deal. Okay, I had them my whole life. They left an emptiness inside me, and I needed to fill that emptiness in some way. And I'm sitting there at home, unable to work or do anything because my wisdom teeth were out and my body was in shock.
And you were on pain meds.
And I was on pain medication, a decent amount. And I thought this would be a great time to go on a date with somebody. And I got on Tinder and I was like, no, this sucks. And then I must have like gone on it super late at night or something and like just been like, letting myself go through the nose. And then I saw a picture of a young lady playing an accordion. And I thought, oh, I've tried to play the accordion and failed. It is a difficult instrument to play. And I thought, that is not like a casual, you don't like casually put a photo of yourself playing the accordion as your Tinder profile if you can't back it up and actually play the accordion. And I was like, all right, you know what? At the very least, we can learn something from each other. So I hit her up and we went to go get tacos. And here's the thing that really did it for me. McKinley and I were talking about our iPods because we're both like classic 160 gigabyte people. I was back in the day. I don't still have mine because it's not 10 years ago. And I was like, man, yeah, I had a 160. She's like, oh, I have one too. I'm like, oh, cool. Well, it used to be that I would ask you to look through your iPod as like a form of, and she's like, here, I keep that shit on me. And she pulled it out and handed it to me. I was like, you have your iPod just like on you, like in 2019, you're holding a 160 gig iPod. That meant something to me, And the other important development is that shortly after, we started pretty much like hanging out every day, like right away from the time we met. And shortly after, we went to go see some show and we came back and we both kind of felt like making music, and we hadn't really made music together. And we sort of just sat down and on the spot wrote like 5 songs in like 20 minutes. And we were both kind of like, oh, hey, how about that?
It was pretty nuts because we'd both been spent most of our lives being like, everyone else is a schmuck and has terrible work ethic, so we'll just play all the instruments ourselves and shoulder the entire burden, and collaboration be damned, that's for suckers. So being able to so effortlessly be like, oh, hey, do you want to like lay something down here? And then he would record something that was really good, and on instruments that also I typically like. My first instrument is the piano, and to have someone else play piano in a way that I don't, it immediately became really challenging and a ton of fun, and it just kept feeding itself because it just didn't stop, and it still hasn't stopped, and we're quite close to actually putting out another album. I just have to find the time to finish mixing it, but otherwise it's pretty much ready to go. So it's been nonstop.
You know, we're used to having to write each part of a song ourselves, and so suddenly I don't have to do everything, and McKinley doesn't have to do everything, and we can instead focus on doing the part we do more and learning from each other, because McKinley hears things in a song that I don't hear. So I'll play something and give it to her, and she'll hear a part for it that I would never think about. But also sometimes she'll listen to it and she'll hear the same thing that I hear that we should do to it, and we're both like, yeah.
That's awesome. How many guys? I can't talk today. How many instruments do you guys have between you? I think that's something the world would like to know.
30 plus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sitting around us right now, we have quite a number. This microphone is actually balanced on my accordion case that we will not be using it today. It's just
accordion, guitar. We have like 6 guitars or 7 guitars between us.
Yeah.
Harp, keyboard, ukulele, flute, banjo, dulcimer. Almost all of these are McKinley's, by the way. Bass, 2 basses, a set of like 7 harmonicas. There's a drum set back there. An ajna drum.
Ocarina, trumpet.
I have a gong. We have a bunch of percussion. Lap steel.
Mandolin and banjo.
Mandolin, trumpet.
Cello, violin. Also.
Violin, singing
I have
bowls,
a problem.
an auto harp, violin.
I have a complete list written down somewhere.
And a cello.
As well as a family photo, yeah. But
Wow.
I don't know. My dad collected instruments when I was growing up. So the first instrument that I ever got my hands on was a marimba when I was about 6.
Oh yeah, we have a great marimba.
Yeah.
And a xylophone.
And it's glockenspiel actually. But,
And a glockenspiel.
yeah.
Did I mention I have a gong? Because
The gong is great. I've personally rung the gong, and there's something where you're just like, yeah, I can do
feeling
anything.
actual sound waves vibrate around, like it's feeling them tangibly. It's incredibly satisfying. I didn't think having a gong round would be so great, but I 10 out of 10 would recommend, especially with the approaching holiday season. If you need a gift, just get someone a gong. They'll be bewildered but delighted.
they'll ask you, when am I supposed to bang it? And you say, every day, sunrise, wake up your household. They'll love it. I promise.
Or they say, when am I supposed to ring a gong? And you just say, whenever you want. And that's not something people are used to hearing, but it's true.
It is true.
Wow.
Awesome. Well, speaking of all of your instruments, do you guys want to play us a song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harper, thanks.
Yeah. So this is going to be a song off of our upcoming 4th album, which we have not yet announced a title for. I want to call it Big Knickknacks.
What?
You said it, and I wrote it down a while ago.
Okay. This is news to me.
This
sorry.
is news to her, but I think it's a good title. Anyway, all right. This is called Red Moon. It's based off of a time that we were in the Outer Banks in North Carolina on the beach late at night, and it was raining.
Nope. It was just a
That was the
big
next
red
time.
moon.
All right, it was just a really beautiful red moon. But we were out on the beach, like listening with headphones, listening to music, like standing in the water at night. And then we're like walking back up. And as we walk back up the stairs up to like the road, we turn around and the huge red moon is like hanging right in the sky above the ocean. And we're both like, whoa.
I'm not very good at writing love songs, so
You
this
are.
was
I think.
not. I don't write love songs that much, but so this is this is a new one for us. You love me warmer than this red moon in the sky, and you kiss me sweeter than a lifetime spent eating apple pie. You're my nightlight, a real Mr. Right, cooling me down when I'm high and dry. Baby, you make my day so bright. I feel like I've gone blind from staring at your sunshine. So don't worry about the bad days. We love each other just fine. We love each other just fine. We love each other just fine. You gave me more shivers than this cool evening rain. If you drive me this crazy, then I must make you insane. So baby, give me your aid. I'll try to take away your pain. Baby, you make my day so bright. I feel like I've gone blind from staring at your sunshine. So don't worry about the bad days. We love each other just fine.
Wow.
That
Wow.
was awesome.
Thanks, guys.
What a treat.
Food is not my strong suit, so that was a new thing. That was a
I thought McKinley
Check.
picked up the flute yesterday, and she's like, "What if I played the flute?" And I was like, "What if you did?" And here we are.
Amazing.
It's pretty fun once you get. It took like 2 hours, and I'm sure everyone else in the house was thrilled to listen to like blah 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 for a good amount of time. But
You know, when McKinley bought a trumpet over the summer, we were staying at a friend's house in order to quarantine to go on a trip, and she was like, "I don't want to bother these people by playing trumpet in their house. Can you like drive me around so I can play trumpet in your car while we're driving around?" And so we would just drive around, and she would just play trumpet like out the window, and we'd like stop at red lights, and she'd be like,
yeah.
That's amazing, and that's like the most McKinley thing I've heard in a while, and I love it.
Hey, Sock. Yeah, I try to keep my noise contained, but you know, sometimes you gotta womp womp
wow, wow.
Yeah.
with your womp womp horn.
Definitely.
Yeah, but we
Awesome.
we got another one if that's okay with you guys. Figure we
Yeah.
can just knock it right out. This
Yeah,
one.
before you go, I would love to know, like, I mean, I want to listen to you guys play songs all day. That's something I miss. For all you Give Me a Job listeners who don't know, I actually used to live with McKinley and Asher
was
For
great.
several beautiful
It was
months.
nice.
for some wonderful months. Earlier this year, we were roomies, and it was a really joyous time in my
It was
life.
great. Yeah.
And while I don't miss having my room also be the laundry room, because this was a temporary sitch, I do
Guess
very much miss getting to listen to you guys just jam out all day.
Wow.
But yeah, before you play your next song, I'd love to know, what's your biggest source of inspiration, if there is one?
See, I was thinking about this earlier. Just, I think if assuming that you have a kind of spark that drives you to create or express, then inspiration can quite easily come from anything and everything in your daily life. Also, I mean, as cliche as this is, I think Asher is also quite a big inspiration to me, just because he's got a like an omnibus of like how many solo albums, like
A few.
it's like several dozen that he's done himself, and like no matter how long of a day or a week we've been having, he's always like, can we spend our off time making music and recording new stuff? And like he has boundless energy and enthusiasm, so sometimes I might struggle to keep up, but it definitely pushes me to keep at it. He's also the reason why I am currently working in musical fields and earning most of my income from musical work, actually all my income from musical work, which I never would have thought possible, but that was entirely because of him. So that's my big cliche answer. I don't know if you got a different one.
Wow. I don't know anything I can say is going to measure up to that, but music to me is sort of like, I think music to me functions the same way that other people might view like meditation or like mindfulness exercises or like yoga or like hiking, or it to me is like the thing that I do to take me out of anything except the immediate present moment. You know, music puts me like, it forces me to be right in the moment and only engage with what I'm working on and what I want it to be, and it sort of accesses this part of my brain that is otherwise like sort of buried under the thoughts of like daily life and you know, like responsibilities and job and, you know, like keeping myself alive and all that other stuff. But it's like this always there part that if I can like shove off the other stuff from on top of it, then it will rise up and I can use it to, it really, it does seem like an endless well of energy that I can access if I can like get to it all the time. And inspiration is anything that helps me get to it. So often other music will do it for me, listening to other artists who I admire, you know, Prince, Frank Zappa. I've been on a real strong Tyler the Creator kick lately. But also listening to like people talk about instruments, looking at like paintings or other types of art. Looking at the lake is a big one for me. Anything that roots me in the present moment. And I enjoy a lot of happiness with McKinley, just like day to day, you know, like just like momentary joys that also help to root me in the present, I think. And when that happens, I will sometimes like stop whatever we're doing so I can, you know, write down a lyric or like, you know, quick do like a demo into my phone or something. But it's sort of like driving in a car. Where am I going with this? It's sort of like playing Pac-Man, and the ghosts chasing you are like your thoughts and anything that distracts you from the moment. And the little bubbles that you're eating are little sources of inspiration. And if you can eat enough bubbles, then you can make an album. I'm all right.
I love it.
Forget the metaphors, but yeah.
Great answers.
Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we'd love to hear your other tunes. Take it away.
Thanks, buddies.
So
yeah, this is one off of our third most recent album called Are You Just Gonna Stand There Like I'm Lemon? And we're also trying to, if you guys wanted to talk about design after this, we're actually just now trying to get a website off the ground called Curtain Call Productions, which is named after this song because it's here it is.
Before you kiss me, you should kiss the sky, the earth and all its creatures too. There's 100 reasons why. In the ocean, they have seen your face and heralded you're coming from miles away. Lots of people come and stop and stare. It's plain to me to see that I'm the last one here. Everyone has gathered on the shore to call your name out loud and celebrate your birth. You're the last one standing, the purest on this earth. Your coming was predicted. It's the greatest mystery. I know why you should go when you could stay right here. What's out there waiting for us doesn't have to get clear. We can keep it a secret from everyone that we know if you only tell me so. And the trees will keep our secrets, and the moon will shine on them. Nobody has to see what we do when we go in the earth. No one has to see what we become. I didn't warm up for this. Cause we merge with the rocks and soil. The rocks and soil. The only thing we go to return to. We go together. And I see in your face that the sky is turning. It's coming down on me. The sun is setting on us now. We might as well make our peace with everything around us while we have the chance. While we have the chance.
Wow, bravo.
Bravo.
I have a question. Came to my mind while you guys are playing and singing. From your experience, how hard to enter to the musician field and work in that industry?
It's hard as hell. It's hard as hell, and honestly, the only reason that I feel like I have found any semblance of success is that I feel like a lot of people think that in order to like make a living in the work that they enjoy doing, it has to be a very specific angle. Like, I think a lot of musicians feel that because they like to make music, they have to make a career out of making and performing music, which is really, really hard to do for a number of reasons. Asher used to do it. But I think that the more that you can broaden your vision or scope to like the rest of the industry. So like in terms of music and audio, right now I've found a lot more work in working in like audio engineering, production, like working with instruments, like music. I also work with a music school, and also piano technology. And Asher has had work like running a record label, like managing bands, hosting tour schedules, which is also a pain in the ass. But I think like by combining all those different angles, it's a lot easier to close that gap between doing something you really like and, you know, finding some kind of success, financial or, you know, fulfillment wise, at least in music, I think.
I mean, if I were to say to you, write an original song and now make money off of it, you would say, how? And I would say, I don't know, figure it out. That's what it's like. There's no like, you know, you write a bunch of songs, great. If you can get your friends to buy them on the internet, great. But like, there's no like place you then take your songs to and they say, oh, okay, here, we'll help you like have a career in the music industry. You're doing it by yourself, however you can figure it out. That's not, there's like, however you imagine you would go about it, that's what you would do. Like, there's no secret. It's just like hoping that people like it and they like you, because it's not even always about the music you make. Sometimes it's not even at all about the music you make. It's just about if people like you and are willing to help you and think you have something to offer them. The music industry is a cutthroat, entirely like self-serving, what can you do for me? I guess I'll help you if you can help me, like mercenary organization run by people who only want to stay in power and make money off things that are already successful. I'm not going to say any more about it, but that's just like the tip of the iceberg. It's very, very difficult.
The one thing that I will say, at least in terms of recording music, one thing I found that like with the albums that we've recorded, you know, the money that we make from like donations on Bandcamp from like our friends and family supporting us is awesome. And it's like, you know, those kinds of donations are really great. But the value in also having work that you have produced and put work and time and care into is so helpful for like a portfolio or a resume, because at least and I think this can apply to any field, but if you don't have, because again, it's hard as hell to get a job when you need experience, but everybody wants people with experience. That you guys talked about that in your first episode.
Yeah.
But the thing that I found, and I think you guys are also doing this with your podcast, is when you take the initiative to make something that you're interested in and you put work into making it good, and when you put work into it, you can refer to it as something that you did on your own time without pay, without outside motivations. And that's, I mean, I think that is still just as essential to like a resume or building a portfolio, because then that shows that you are motivated and you are interested in what you're doing, rather than like, oh, I went to school for this thing, so I think I could probably do it if I can maybe get a job eventually.
No one cares about your qualifications, at least in the music industry. McKinley is absolutely right too. To pursue something with purity of intent, to just create and say, this is what I want to do, I'm passionate about it, and my passion will drive me to produce something that is unique and excellent. That leaves a bigger mark on anyone who potentially comes across it than any amount of effort of being like, listen to my music, buy my music, check it out, hey, can I open for you, check out my SoundCloud. Like, there's no, that almost never does anything for people in the music industry. It used to maybe 50 years ago, before the internet, but now, because any person who owns a laptop can start a band on the internet and put their music on there, it's not about accessibility, because everything is accessible. It's about quality of content. It's about being uniquely yourself in a way that makes people interested in you. And if you can interest people in you, then they will try to help you, or at least they'll give you the time of day. Touring is an easier way to make money. Now, obviously, touring is like not so much an option. But even like even before, like the most money I ever made when I was trying to make music full time, I was managing a band, touring constantly, booking at venues, running a record label, doing like high level, like 80, 90 hour a week, like hustling my butt off. And I was making, like $1,000 a month. It was just like brutal. Like, it's just, no one cares about music beyond like a thing that you enjoy in your day to day. No one's like, musicians should really make more money. Like, no one thinks that except musicians. So you do it not for the money, you do it because you love it. And I like to think that if you do something that you love really well for a long time, then people will start to treat you like you deserve to be treated, or like you want to be treated. I don't know.
That's such a good answer. And I think a lot of what you just said is really applicable to anything, right? That's something that we have found absolutely in the design world is it's the trap of like, we want to hire someone with experience, but we're not going to give you experience so you can get hired, and you have to just do it all in your free time. And everything you were saying, I was like, this resonates. It was like getting hit with bombs or something. I don't know. It was just like everything you were saying was like rattling around in my soul.
But again, it's like you guys now have this podcast that is on Spotify, and I think you guys have put these on YouTube as well. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, now you can point to this as something where it's where you can say like, hey, we are two women who started our own podcast about design, and like we run ourselves. We did put in this X amount of work for something that we didn't make money off of, but we did it because we care. And I think that is a very, very valuable thing to have in your tool belt for sure.
It really is, because this is like, I think we live in the highest level of a self-starter obsessed world that we could possibly live in. I think people have this idea that they have to wait until they are qualified to start working in a way that they want to work, right? Whether it's musicians who are like, I need to wait until I am famous to release albums, or I need to wait until, my podcast has 1,000 listeners before I like decide to share it with my friends and family, or I need to wait until I'm better at an instrument to record myself playing an instrument. Nobody cares about those things. What they care about is they look at you and they see that you have a body of work. They see that you have an identity, a professional identity. And they look at that and they say, oh, they don't see a person trying to be a musician. They don't see a person trying to be, no one has ever looked at anybody and thought, oh, that's a person trying to do their job, unless they're really obviously terrible at it, which would only really happen if you're not properly motivated, and you wouldn't do it anyway. So the fact that you're doing it shows you, they look at you and they say, that is a musician. That is a podcaster. That is this person. Who cares if they don't have 1,000 followers yet? Who cares if they're not famous yet? Not all musicians are famous. Not all podcasters are famous. But you doing it is your qualification. And so when you want to get hired or approached by a record label or approached by a podcast label, I don't know if that, they don't look at you and say, you're not good enough. They might look at you and say, here are some things we can improve on. But they're going to say, because you are already doing it, I know that I don't have to hold your hand and make you do your job. So establishing a body of work and just doing it from the beginning, like we've been putting out music this whole time, right? And whether or not people listen to it, thank you, Judy. If someone ever does come to listen to our band, they're not going to say, how come they don't have any music? I thought they were a band. And we're not going to say, well, we're waiting for enough attention to release our full album. No, they're going to say, it's a band. They've put out 3 albums. They're going to put out another album.
Sorry,
I know, go ahead.
You're saying good things. But the one thing that I found, like, especially with the music that we're making together, is like, because we've been pushing each other so much, it's like some of these albums is like, it really pushed my boundaries in that I was, now working with him, I've mixed songs with like, I've recorded drums for the first time. I've mixed songs with like 30 tracks and I'm entirely self-taught. So at that point, when I started applying to jobs in audio engineering, I was saying like, look, I don't have any formal qualifications. I didn't go to school. And especially like, schools that teach you how to mix and engineer and produce. I mean, it's like, $1 billion in tuition. No. But like I was still able to refer to our work and say like, this is the stuff that I am capable of producing myself. And that really counted for something. And I think that's probably why I have been as fortunate as I have in networking and finding work that way. But yeah, so that was like, I think, are we done? Are we done with that question? I think I've said all I can say. Thank you for our patience.
The last thing I want to mention, and I know I've already talked about this a lot, and you can cut it from the podcast if you want, that's fine. I just want to mention this about the music industry. When you are an artist and you want to get the attention of a record label to sign you, that is to give you a contract to get paid a lot of money for your music up front, even if no one buys it, which is what you want. Record labels now do not look for people the way they used to look for people in the past. In the past, Oasis would go perform at a club and a guy from a record label would be there and be like, these guys are great. Here's $20,000. Now, record labels surf the internet looking for people who are already successful in attracting fans and selling albums on their own. And they say, you're already successful. Here is more money. To break into that, the only way in is to be successful on your own. That's what we're talking about here. There is no other way. You get viral, you make a viral video, and you get a fucking deal. You put out 30 quality albums that 200 people listen to, nothing. Because it's all about quantity at this point. And I'm not trying to sound like overly cynical. I'm just trying to emphasize the importance of being self-reliant and working on your own. And if you really want to make money, just like hustling your butt off every day and accepting that you might still not get anywhere.
So that brings up a question in my mind. Do you think, okay, so obviously that happened with every industry, right? Like not every hard worker can land to that job that they love.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think that the person need to be lucky, or they need just to be hard worker?
I think it could be either.
I think
Or both.
both.
Yeah.
I think you need to be lucky to be born as a hard worker because you can't
Honestly?
fake that, right? So you need to be lucky in that you are born with confidence and the ability to put yourself out there and like sort of like gently nudge people into paying attention to you. But you also have to be a hard worker. So both, I think.
I'd say maybe don't depend on luck, but you know, I think if you do get lucky, it's very humbling to be able to appreciate that you know, won that specific roll of the dice. So like, I feel like I'm a pretty hard worker, but I also know that I have been very, very fortunate in the people who I've met and the opportunities I've been given as a result of that. And that, I think, also maintaining that humble attitude makes me much more of a humble person. And I think people are much more receptive to talking to and teaching with people who are open to learning. But yeah, I think it's either or both, you know, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B for sure.
I think of it as like if you are a little dot and you radiate out like the attitude that you want people to give you opportunities. The strength of that radiation is like how hard you're working. And I'm trying.
Sorry.
But your luck is where you end up being placed on the map and what things are around you to be hit by your... Does this make any sense?
It does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I love
Okay.
it. I'm visualizing it now.
So
Yeah.
no
It's like
a
matter where
tractor
you
beam.
are, if you work hard enough, you will hit something. But if you are lucky, you will be placed in a place where you will hit more things.
I agree with that. I think that's honestly, like, you guys like said amazing stuff, and something I really like to highlight, that please, for all the companies, hire people that they love what they are doing, because they're gonna be very successful. Forget about the experience. You don't need tons of experience to hire this person. You just need to hire someone who loves what they are doing. Like you guys, for example, like I'm sure that you've spent like tons of hours for your albums and like creating songs, because you write the song, you sing it, like you do edit, you guys do everything. Like you are a full band. You don't need anyone to add to your things, because you are guys complete, in my opinion. Like you do everything.
I think one thing I will say, and one thing that my brother said, he found work in a job that he had zero qualifications for in terms of like calibrating tools, and it's weird listening to him talk about what he does. But I mean, he got that job working at a deli in Giant, and the guy who hired him just said like he saw that he was a hard worker just from seeing him in this deli every day. And you know, when my brother said like, I have no qualifications for the job that you're asking me for, he's like, that's fine, we can train you, but we hire based on character. Ideally, every single company would do that, but you know, depending on the companies who run it, not everybody does, because they're brainwashed into thinking that they'll just pick out people who have already done XYZ or whatever. But I think while that is incredibly frustrating to have to deal with, I also think that that is a big sign of the companies that maybe you would not want to work for. Because if if a company is only hiring based on like a sparkling resume, they can easily be hiring a bunch of assholes who don't work well with each other and aren't receptive to new ideas or collaboration or bringing in, you know, fresh new talent from a difficult field. So while it is really, really frustrating, I think, you know, there could be some amount of comfort in thinking that, you know, those might not be the kind of places you want to work anyways, with those kinds of employers and employees. But
something I really love about you guys, that you guys didn't wait for the opportunity to come. And like when Harvard and I started to, like, first, like we talked about like YouTube and podcast, we are struggling to land a job. Like it
Mhm.
was really hard for us to get a job. So we thought like, you know what, if opportunity doesn't knock, let's build the door. And I think
Yeah.
you guys are doing exactly the same. You guys don't wait for the opportunity to come to you. You are building this opportunity for ourselves, for you guys, for yourself, and that's something is amazing. I'm really happy for that. With that being said, can we have another song, please?
Yeah, so we got our last one. Do you want to do
So the background story for this song is that McKinley's dad made a mixtape for McKinley and her siblings when they were children of songs
cassette?
of songs to listen to. A cassette tape.
Give me your phone so I can look up the
And
lyrics.
this was one of the songs on that cassette.
I would also like to say that it was particularly brilliant mixtape in that it was songs for kids that kids could enjoy, that adults could also love and get down with and not get sick of. So it's just good rock and roll, but it's also songs for kids. So this is a cover from the Kinks, and it's quite topical because it's about, yeah, well, we'll get on with it. But yeah, it's called 8 Man.
All right, I'm doing the first verse. You do the second.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I think I'm sophisticated because I'm living my life like a good homo sapien. But all around me, everybody's multiplying and they're walking around like flies, man. So I'm no better than the animals sitting in the cages in the zoo, man. Because compared to the flowers and the birds and the bees,
I am an 8 Man. I think I'm so educated and I'm so civilized because I'm a strict vegetarian.
she don't eat meat.
But with the overpopulation and inflation and starvation and the crazy politician,
2020,
I don't feel safe in this world no more. I don't want to die in a nuclear war. I want to sail away to a distant shore and live like an 8 Man. I'm an 8 Man, I'm an 8 Man, oh, I'm an 8 Man.
I'm a King Kong man, I'm a voodoo man, oh, I'm an 8 man.
Compared to the sun that sits in the sky, compared to the clouds as they roll by, compared to the bugs and the spiders and flies, I am an 8 Man. I'm an 8 Man.
I'm an 8 man, oh, I'm an 8 man. I'm a King Kong man, I'm a voodoo man, oh, I'm an 8 man. I don't feel safe in this world no more.
I don't want to die in a nuclear war.
I want to sail away to a distant shore
and live like an 8 Man.
In man's evolution, he has created the Zoom web camera and the unemployment line.
But give me one chance, and I would be running into the jungle and taking off my pants.
The only time that I feel at ease is swinging up and down in the coconut trees. Oh, what a life of luxury to live like an 8 man. Come on and love me
In your 8 Man world,
and we'll be so happy.
in your 8 Man world.
Oh, I'm an 8 man, I'm an 8 man, oh, I'm an 8 man. I'm a King Kong man, I'm a voodoo man, oh, I'm an 8 man. I look up the window, but I can't see the sky. This air pollution is a fucking up my eye. I want to get out of the city and
And
so
look like an 8 Man. Oh my goodness.
so I broke a string and the lyrics stopped loading on our phone. If you give us, if it's possible, we could do that over, or we could not. Maybe it's not meant
I
to
think
be.
I think that was
All
great.
right, maybe we just cut it.
Thank you, we're
Yeah.
MLEMON.
All right. Well,
All our stuff is on Spotify and Bandcamp for sale if you want to give us a donation. But otherwise, yeah,
God
please
damn
just
it.
listen to our music and.
yeah.
No, that was good. It was impressive.
We could do a different one if you
No,
want.
no.
No?
I'm good.
That was
I
great.
think 3 is a good number. But yeah, thanks for having us, you guys. This was really,
Yeah.
really fun.
Thanks for joining us. It was really wonderful to have you and see your lovely faces.
Do you have any other questions for us, or was that it?
No.
I
Okay,
think
cool.
you guys like answer all the questions in an amazing way, honestly. Like,
Oh wow.
yeah, so I like thank you so much.
Yeah, my face hurts from grinning so much and
Me
getting to
too.
listen to you guys.
We did our job, baby.
Sweet. Well, yeah. Thanks so
Awesome.
much, guys. I hope
Sweet.
somebody
Yeah.
gives us all a job.
Yeah, right.
Same here.
We can only hope.
Here's to getting jobs.
Cheers
All
to that. All
Indeed.
right.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you guys.
Sayonara.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
See ya.
Wow.
Well, that was amazing.
That was beautiful. And I think with MLEMOn, we are ending our 2020 year in amazing, perfect way.
Agreed. Thanks for hanging out, guys. We've learned a lot, and both doing this podcast and this year, I feel like every time I talk to McKinley and Asher, I learn new things, and yeah, everything they said was great in my opinion. The one question we have for you that we would love to know is, what would you like to hear in the new year? Are there any topics that you would like us to cover? Anything you've been thinking about? And we hope you have a wonderful, happy, safe, healthy, peaceful holiday season and new year. As always, special thanks to you guys for listening and sticking with us, if there are any of you listening. And thanks to McKinley and Asher for writing our theme song and for helping us close out our first season year of Give Me a Job. We will publish the full version of the theme song before the year is out, and we'll see you next year. Catch you on the flip side, guys.
Take care, guys, and we'll see you. Peace.